Welcome to A World Made of Cardboard Assembles. In my last video, I created a way for you to make your own Starfighter. This is a paper model that is tab and slot assembly. That PDF is in the description below, and it can hold a 3 3/4 inch action figure. Now it is made out of paper, it is a rather flimsy, but it still, I think, is pretty sturdy for what it does. Now, this is a model that is based off of a toy I'd made when I was a kid. The toy, I made it out of some cardboard that I had around, and I couldn't afford an X-Wing fighter or a TIE fighter, so I made my own. And this one became, I painted it black. I had paint at that time and used it as an Imperial Starfighter. But this one, you can make it whatever you want. Good guy, bad guy, whatever you want to try to do with it. One thing I've decided to do in this video is to talk over the video in this assembly process, mainly because I'm running out of time to do things. I haven't been able to put videos out in a reasonable fashion. So I'm hoping that this will work for this video here. And if you like this style, please tell me in the comments below and we'll see if we can get this to work out. One thing I've also added to this video, or this concept, is this. I created basically, if you remember the old G.I. Joe toys of the 80s, they came with blueprints or plans that showed the details of the toy. I created one for this Starfighter. A lot of things are left kind of vague, like the range is classified, top speed, and the power generation is classified. But I described a little bit about the type of drive system it has and pointed out a few things indicating what is what. But you don't have to download this if you don't want to. But if you like this kind of thing, I might start including it on other toys that I make, which, by the way, I am working on a few other things. So what I was going to do in this video was show, when you download the instructions, just what do you do? How do you build it? I'm actually going to assemble one. I have some parts already cut out and ready to go, and I have some that are not. They still need to be cut out. I already got this part cut out, but I'm going to cut this one out live right now as we go, and we'll see how this Starfighter goes together. So, here we go. I use just regular scissors to cut out this paper model. Now, these are not what you'd call standard regular scissors. I bought these at Walmart. They are Fiskars. You can use whatever kind of scissors you are most comfortable with to cut out the design, the model. I try not to make my models where they are so tight in precision that you can't cut them out, or with just a regular pair of scissors. One of the things I want to do is try to make these things as accessible as possible so that people can quickly and easily put them together. It's one of the things I really believe about toys. They shouldn't be so expensive that you can't afford them, and they shouldn't be so complicated that it's too difficult to put them together or even be able to enjoy them. And it's kind of like one thing that's happening right now in the toy industry. You've got toys that are $30 sitting on the shelf for one action figure. That literally means that a kid can't world build, they can't design their own toys, they can't buy as many figures as they want in just a quick time. They have to plan and save up. I mean, when I was a kid, I only got $20 cutting grass for my grandmother, and every now and then $20 for cutting grass for my father. Now, $20 went a long way back then. with that $40, I could literally go buy 3 or 4 action figures, a vehicle, and all sorts of stuff, and have a pretty good sizable collection of stuff to enjoy. Now, that $40 doesn't even get you 2 action figures, because they're both all running in the $25 range, so you're only able to buy 1. And if you buy, say, Star Wars figures, the 3 3/4 inch ones, they're running about $16, $17 now. So again, you're only able to buy 2 figures, but Hasbro's not making any vehicles or play sets with them. So there goes that idea. No world building there. And it just kind of falls apart after a while. You can't world build. You can't have fun with your toys. Because first off, they cost so much. Afraid to lose something, afraid to break something. And then you're just kind of stuck. I mean, think of it this way. I'm old enough now. I have 2 daughters. I have nieces and I have nephews, and don't have any nieces, because mine are the only 2 granddaughters on both sides of the family. But anyway, we really didn't increase our allowance or what we gave our kids to go to the store with, you know. I mean, the action figure for G.I. Joe, if I remember right, they were around $3 a figure in the 90s, and $2.99 at Toys R Us, if I remember correctly. Well, that means now they are pushing, what, $25 for a 6-inch figure, $10 for a 5 points of articulation Star Wars retro collection figure, something along those lines. Well, you can't really build a lot of toys with it, get a lot of toys with that for that $20 that I got as a kid. So, have you increased your allowance that you give your child? Are you giving them like $50 a week so they can go buy 3 or 4 action figures? I'm honestly not sure on that. Maybe some people are. I know I didn't. It just kind of goes along that way. As you can see, as I'm cutting along, I'm trimming some things off a little bit more closely, but it's not necessary to get super close in some of the points. You follow the line as best as you can, but remember, design this thing to be a little more flexible than usual. Okay, now that I'm through with the scissors, I come to the point where I have to use an X-Acto knife. Now this is one I've gotten. I bought it because it was a Fisker's handle, but it uses an X-Acto blade. I think this is a number 11 blade. But I got this one because all of X-Acto knife things would roll on the table and roll off. This one will not roll. I like things not rolling off and stabbing me in the leg. That's something that I really don't care for. But anyway, I just cut out the little tab slots with this. Now, since I've got the camera with me, I'm having to do this far away, so not exactly getting as accurate as I would hope to be here. But I'm still able to cut the lines pretty well. I think. Not exactly an accurate cutting type person all the time, but I can at least cut a straight line. If you hear any noise in the background, it's my wife. She's making dinner. But anyway, remove those little tab insert things, and then comes the part of scoring. Now, Scoring is a little different from what it was. I don't know why it's called this now, but anyway, done with the X-Acto knife. Okay, now that I've finished cutting out all the little parts, it's time for scoring, or basically it's embossing. What I have is a little tool called a scoring tool. Bought this off of Amazon. It has just a little rounded tip that will make a little crease on the paper so that it can be folded easily. So what I do is I literally just put the straight edge right along the line and then score it. That's it. So every line that needs to be scored or embossed, I just make a little crease on it doing this. This makes it easier to fold the object and fold the paper, put it into the shape that it needs to be. Now, you can see I'm left-handed. So many things you can do being left-handed and so many things you cannot do being left-handed. But anyway, so essentially that's all I'm doing right here. It's just embossing the paper so that I can fold it along these lines. So I missed that one slightly. Anyway, sometimes I miss one or two, so I have to look at the back side to make sure I did it right. If you don't have a scoring tool, you can also use a dried up ink pen. I've done that too. Ballpoint ink pen. It works pretty well. And you just are able to make that little crease on the paper so that you can then just fold it right along that line. See? That's all that's needed. Now I've seen some people use a ruler or some type of a straight edge to crease it and make it fold right on the point that it needs to go. I used to do that too, but it wasn't as precise as this. You can actually draw it right on the point, right on the line, and make it fold perfectly so that you can have a well-made part. And there we are with this piece ready to go together. Okay, next you bring the top in. Now one thing I didn't describe in the instructions was something that I thought would be rather straightforward. These tabs are wider than the actual slots that will go through. So what you have to do to make them fit is kind of fold over the little edges, fold over those corners so that a part will go, the tab will go in. Once you've done that, then you're able to slide the piece in, the tabs into the slots easily. So first things first, we have this one. This is the back part, the top of the fuselage. Put the tail through that slot and then slide the tabs through. Now I made them longer on some ends than the other to make it easier to put together. the longer tabs being at one end, so that you can just kind of slide them through and they would fit together. Now these tabs are going to be needed again when you put the bottom onto the ship, onto the starship. Tail through, starting with the longest tab first, put it through. Then when you're about halfway there, put that one in, it's in there, and then put the last one through. Alright, that's ready to go. Leave this folded out and bring in the bottom part, the bottom of the fuselage. Sliding in the large tabs first. You're able to get it started so that you can put in the smaller tab in the middle. Now once that's done, you start the folding over. This is one of the trickier parts here. Keep this back flap open. You don't want to close it up just yet. That'll be one of the last things you do. Just close that up. Well, as you're folding it over, you'll see that the form starts to take a shape like this. The body starts to have a concave look toward that front section. That gives the body, the fuselage, a little strength when it's put together. Slide in that first piece, that first tab. And you'll find it's going to be rather an intriguing little design. Slide in the first tab. Then the second tab. Then the third tab. Then inside, kind of fold them out. You can bend the paper a little bit. You don't have to worry about it being too straight, but eventually it will all fold itself in place when everything is scored correctly. Yes, oops. Yeah, I have noticed as I've gotten older, I'm not as delicate as I used to be with putting together paper models. My hands don't fit in the thing as well as they used to. I think I've just gotten bigger. Alright, it's together. Fold out the little tabs inside so that everything stays in place. And there you go. That's what it should look like when you're done. You may have to shape it a little bit because you bend it up a little. I just did. But there it is. Do not fold any of this over just yet. Next comes the cockpit. It's going to be a little more interesting to put together. Fold the little tabs over so they can slide into the slots. And just put them through. These tabs will not be seen when it's put into the assembled Starfighter. The fuselage completely wraps around it so that you won't be seeing any of this stuff. Made that one only a single tab piece because it was already attached at the bottom in a way that was conducive to it not sliding out. And there we are with that. Fold those over a little bit. Then put the control panel in. Oh, I forgot to score that. I forgot to score the control panel to fold that one little piece over. There we are. So, put that through. And slide those parts, those tabs, through the slot. And there is the cockpit ready to go. Next, we put the cockpit onto the fuselage. Fold the little tabs over so that they'll go through. And then the little slots on the back part of this fuselage. You can put your hand up through the fuselage and slide it through, just like that. Same thing with the other side. And then slide this through up here. All right. There is the cockpit sitting in place, right on the front of the vehicle. So now comes the other part. It's the front part. First off, take the bottom and this little piece. This is the scoop on the front of the Starfighter. We'll put it together. You kind of tuck that in so it makes a good looking scoop. And you put these tabs through. Didn't bend it far enough. I'm probably not staying in camera very well. I'm trying to do the best I can with this, considering this is the first time I've done a full live type assembly. Well, pseudo live. I'm just assembling as I go. And now the scoop is in place. Now, you have to put the top of the fuselage on. This is the part that I scored earlier and cut out earlier when I was rambling on about the state of the toy industry today. Sorry, every now and then I get to talking about strange things. Put the front two pieces together. Fold these things so that they can go through their slots. here we go. Putting that side in, slide them through, lock them in place by kind of spreading out the tabs. Same thing with the other side. Put it through, and put it through. Go in there and straighten them out so that they'll stay over. Now, one thing I didn't describe in the instructions is not really necessary. I prefer to push these in, the little front part in a little bit. It's not necessary. I just do that. I left it out of the instructions. If you want to push it in, you can. If you don't have to. Assemble these side points here. And this thing is about ready to go, to be put onto the rest of the fuselage, the actual ship itself. Folding these over and getting it ready. Oh, P.S. One thing that I want to mention again is look in the description below for this, another little thing I'm thinking of adding to future designs. Little something similar to what G.I. Joe in the 80s did. Little spec text or some type of blueprint that describes a little bit about the toy and what it does. This will also be in the description below, link to this PDF. Tell me if you like this kind of thing. If you like it, then I'll start doing these a little more. If not, then I'll just start keep making the toys and putting them up there for people to enjoy. Okay, this is the fun part. Takes a little doing, but it's doable and you can get it in there. The cockpit needs to slide up into the hole here. So what you kind of do is open things up and just kind of push it through until it goes in. You want that slot at that tab at the bottom to slide into the little tab down here. Once in, down there, go ahead and put these tabs in. I tried to make this thing to where it'd be easy to put together. There wouldn't be any strange connections and stuff and things that you wouldn't be able to reach. I'm hoping that it worked. At least to me and my big hands it did. That one, last one. And there you go. We're almost done. We got our cockpit ready to go right here. So fold that over and put it through the same slot that you had the cockpit itself, the chair part go through. Make sure you fold it out underneath so it stays in. The back of your thing should look like this. Everything kind of folded out. You can then slide the canopy edge sides in like that so it stays closed. And opening it up, you just get your finger underneath there and lift it up. And then you get to close this. First off, fold the top in. Now that gives you a good little back part there. Then fold the bottom in. Fold a little bit past and let it kind of work itself to where the tab kind of fits in. It may not fit in perfectly, but all things considered, it's pretty good. That keeps the back together. So you will have something that looks like this when finished. That is the Starfighter. Now, people have asked before, why don't you like glue? Here's why. First off, I get it all over me. I never have really liked glue. But now, I don't have to wait for it to dry. My figure can go right in, and he and somebody else can fly around now in their Starfighter. So that is how this thing goes together. If you have any questions or anything about how I put it together or what was going on, what tools I used, please give me some statement in the comments below, and we'll try to make some more things in the future. I have got plans for other vehicles. I'm working on a particular type of ground vehicle that I think will look really nice with any type of toy, 3 3/4 inch figure, and will be a fun little thing to build. I'm hoping that we're able to make some more toys in the future. So thank you for watching, and I will see you later.